Yes.
Well, you
Let's
don't look like,
introduce yourself. We got some new folks here.
you don't look like a John.
No, I'm not a John. I'm a Jennifer. My name's Jennifer Locke, and I'm the managing attorney at the Winchester office of Blue Ridge Legal Services. And Blue Ridge Legal Services' main office is in Harrisonburg, and John Whitfield's our executive director. And we have also have offices in Winchester, Lexington, and Roanoke. And I'm the managing attorney at the Winchester office. For those of you who may not be familiar with what Blue Ridge Legal Services does, Blue Ridge Legal Services provides free legal assistance to low-income individuals in the Shenandoah Valley area in certain civil matters, not criminal matters, in fee-generating matters or personal injury, traffic crimes, certain civil matters. Most people understand and recognize that if you are charged with a crime and facing incarceration and you are poor, you have the legal right to representation.
Define poor for me.
Well, for our purposes, it's based on the federal poverty guidelines. In order to be eligible for our services, in certain cases, you have to follow, your household has to fall under 125% of the federal poverty guideline.
Which is, what's the bottom number?
It depends upon how many members are in your household.
Okay.
Yeah, it's based upon your household number of people in your household.
Okay, say it's 2.
We have a chart that we look at.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
I don't know them off the top of my head.
All right.
I can tell you it's very low. It's very low.
If it's 125% below,
Correct.
then
Correct.
yeah, that's
And for domestic violence victims, it's a bit higher. It's 200% of the poverty guideline. But for the other cases we handle, it's 125% of the poverty guideline. So Blue Ridge Legal Services and other legal aids across the country are there to address that gap in services. Because again, you don't have the right to free legal representation in civil matters. So the whole idea is if you're going to bring meaning to the concept of justice for all, poor people have to have meaningful access to the legal system. And you don't have meaningful access to the legal system if you don't know how to navigate the legal system. And to give you some idea of the types of matters we handle a lot of landlord-tenant issues and other housing issues, family law-related issues, particularly assisting victims of domestic violence, debtor relief and consumer-related issues such as Chapter 7 bankruptcies, different matters impacting senior citizens, drafting simple wills, powers of attorneys, advanced medical directives, discharges from nursing homes, Medicaid and Medicare issues involving certain benefits like food stamps, TANF, unemployment compensation. God bless you.
Thank you.
So that gives you an idea of the types of matters we handle. And in 2019, we closed 37 cases in which we achieved outcomes for 37 clients that benefited 83 low-income Warren County residents, and including affirmative lump sum recoveries of almost $12,500, monthly benefits of over $4,000, and avoidance of claims, costs, and liabilities totaling just under $7,000. And again, the types of matters we handled were the types I just discussed: a lot of housing, a lot of landlord-tenant, assisting victims of domestic violence, and other miscellaneous matters. And I've been with Blue Ridge now for over 20 years. Started out as a staff attorney, also worked a while as a domestic violence attorney, and I've been the managing attorney at the Winchester office for 3 years now. 3 years now.
How do people get in touch and with your services?
They have to go through our intake process to determine if they're eligible for our services. And again, it's based on household income. And we do that every Monday and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can apply online through our website. We just actually started that this year, so that's a brand new thing. And that's been incredibly successful.
And I know a lot of DSS, we all refer.
Okay.
To call
That was what I was
I'll
gonna say,
Why don't you
is
talk
that-
to Blue Ridge Legal and see if they can help you out.
Okay.
And you can do it over the phone, and you can also do it in person.
I believe the courts as well, will people come in and they have questions and
Yes.
they seem like they might fit the need, they'll give them the information.
Yes. We get a lot of referrals through the court system. We get a lot of referrals through local domestic violence shelters like the Laurel Center
One of
Project.
the easy things about them is that their budget request for every jurisdiction is based on how many people are identified as meeting the criteria being for the 125% of the federal poverty guidelines, which for us is 4289 based on the current numbers. So, in theory, I don't know of the other jurisdictions how many meet your budget request.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm sure John does,
Yeah,
but
John, I know, I know a lot of that's it's pretty
Right.
reasonable guidelines. So you think out of the almost 40,000 now in Warren County, about 10% meet the criteria, and that's what that 4289 budget number is based on.
So 3,900 people or whatever, that being 10%.
Yeah,
And we're seeing, how many people are you actually seeing from Warren County? Do you know?
Well, in 2019, we closed 37 cases, and which benefited 83 Warren County residents. And let me explain that. You might be asking, well, if you close 37 cases, how did you benefit 83 low-income Warren County residents? And best way I can tell you is provide you with an example. Let's say you're handling an eviction case for a single mother with 2 children. Your client's the single mother, but if you prevent the eviction, you've assisted 3 individuals, the mother and the 2 children.
Okay, that's understandable.
Any additional questions? Because I thank you for your time, I really do. We're very short and limited in time for everybody today.
Thank you for having me, I appreciate it.
No, and thank you. I heard this last year, but that's the reason I asked about how you find out is, you don't hear much about it
Right.
around, so it's good to know where to send people. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Hello, I'm Sarah Percival with the Northern Virginia Court Center. I'm the program manager there. Jeremy sends his regret that he's not able to make it.
What was your name again? I apologize.
Sarah Percival.
If you could just give us a little idea of what the 4-H Center does, and I've got a general idea from being a 4-H'er years ago, but things change.
Right. We're definitely known for our camps. So we have about 10 camps a week through the week. 10 weeks of camp for 19 jurisdictions. So we service the whole Northern Virginia. Not only do we do camps, we also do field trips. So all in all, we service about a little over 7,000 kids in Northern Virginia, throughout the whole Northern Virginia.
Do you still do Camp Fantastic? Are they still
We
coming?
do.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I knew the Warren Clark camp is usually one of the more well-attended camps during the summer. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there
a
are a lot
little
of
over
kids that
300 for that week.
300 children now?
300 that week, yep.
Okay.
Now, when I was a 4-H'er, they had swimming lessons as part of that week,
Mm-hmm.
different activities that you could pick and choose. Is that still the same type of thing?
That is, yes. We've got swimming, we've got high ropes, bracelet making, archery, air rifle.
Horseback riding.
Right now, we're kind of on a hiatus with horseback riding, but yeah, we
Used
want
to have
we
that,
want to
yeah.
bring it back. Yes. And also, there's sports. There's outdoor living. The outdoor cooking. So we definitely still have quite a few. We have a lot of activities for everybody to choose from. It's not just theater. There we go. That you can do there.
And still have, I don't know how that was done. Does each locality send their youth court? I know each tribe, it used to be tribes, would have someone who supervised us. And I assume they came from each county that sent kids.
Yep, every county has an extension agent, so they are the ones that go through the registration, they bring the kids. Each week, there is a county, or some of them are doubled up, of course. So like the first one's Orange, Madison. The second week, I'm not exactly remember all of them, but
Yeah.
they are, yeah.
The 4-H Center's been through a tough run the last 4 or 5 years, and I think they're trying, certainly working their way out of that. And I think Jeremy's brought and the staff have brought some energy to the facility, and board and General Hobgood and some others that have been active on the board have worked to kind of rebuild things. And I know you all have been really working on trying to upgrade the facility itself and make some much needed improvements
Right.
and repairs and
Yeah.
things.
Peters and Rector has a new facelift, so it just needs to be painted. It looks a little odd right now, but it's looking a lot better. Congressman last year got a new gutted. We had mold in there, so it was gutted, and then so there's no mold. A lot of our issues prior were because of water damage, so we've been trying to rectify that, and that stage is done, and we're moving on to the conference center. I'm not exactly sure when, but I believe Jeremy has solidified a grant for the conference center.
How often does the conference center get used by just outside agencies that like to use that?
We have usually every weekend. It is full. This weekend it is the whole site is rented out. Trying to think. On a whole, I think January is our less busiest, but we've had groups all the way from like Christmas, like all the way through Christmas, and but we had a little bit of lull in January, and we're picking back up on Saturday with the SBCCA or SB Humane Society. Sorry.
I gotcha.
You were on the right track.
Yeah.
It's SPCA.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it says you guys have 25 to 30 employees year round. And so is that like what, give me an idea of what the people are doing.
Usually we've got the majority of our employees are summer staff.
Okay.
Just because of we need a lot of hands.
A lot
on
of
deck
support
for
then,
that.
right, I get, yeah.
And then our shoulder season, so that's basically our spring and fall. We still need quite a few program because we're doing a lot of field trips still.
Okay.
Winter we're kind of slowing down, so our seasonal staff is at its lowest at that point. But yeah.
Are these the people who do grounds and mowing and all that kind of stuff as well?
Yeah, so we have maintenance. They actually, some of them just started this week. So we've got maintenance, we've got housekeepers,
Food service.
food service. Then we've got reservation specialist, program manager.
So you do provide food on site?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
At one point it was catered, right? Didn't they bring in caterers or something?
Like last year we did for a little bit just because
Okay, that's-
we
yes.
lost our food service
Okay.
manager, and we did not have the
Health department.
certifications
Yep,
to have
okay.
that. So,
Yeah.
but we're good to go.
I remembered that from something, yeah, okay.
Sounds like you're heading in the right direction.
Well, we really appreciate your time and for coming in to see us.
Thank you.
And if we have questions, we'll
Yep.
holler at you or come over and visit or do something. But we'll-
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well-
we're anxious.
Excellent. I'll let you know that I'm used to talking to kids, so as you can see, I was very nervous.
That's okay.
But thank you for
You did
We're-
fine.
We're all just big kids.
Yeah, you did
You guys want
fine.
to do a program?
I was up there New Year's
Be
Eve.
careful.
It was nice.
What I asked for? Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. If you can just introduce your contingent. Come on.
Hello, I'm Pete Walker, and I am a member of the Board of Directors of Samuel's Public Library. And with me are Matt Cobgood, another member of the Board of Directors, Barbara Way, the President of the Board of Directors, Harold Hayes, the Executive Director, and Eileen, our Financial Officer. We have a presentation for you of our budget and a community report, if we can hand that out to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I like the one pagers next to you.
Yeah, I like one favorite.
And the color.
Thank you.
And that here would like one?
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, I gotta tell you, because I just read this before I came here. In 2019, there were more visits to a public library than there were movies watched.
I saw that.
Did you
I
see
did
that
see
data?
that. I did. I
That
saw
was
that.
good data.
That was, yeah. I think
Yeah,
that was amazing.
than people who went to the movies.
Can I throw a quick one in as a corollary?
Yeah.
There's more public libraries than McDonald's.
Thank goodness.
That's hard.
Are you sure?
Really? I know.
Yep.
Billions and billions served, right?
Well, you have before you our budget and our community report, and I would like to take this opportunity to assure the County Board of Supervisors that we, as the Board of Directors of the library, are very much aware of our obligation to be prudent stewards of the resources that you have provided us. There are no extravagancies in our budget. Additionally, I'd like to point out, we log thousands of hours, close to 10,000 volunteer hours annually, people coming to our library and supporting us by volunteering their time. We solicit and have received numerous outside grants. We solicit and have received direct contributions. And we hold fundraisers in order to supplement the resources that the county provides us. We like to make sure, and we think we do a heck of a good job, making sure that the county and this community gets the biggest bang for the buck that we get as possible. And you have our budget. If you have any questions whatsoever, there's 5 of us here. I'm sure we'll be able to answer any.
One thing I'd like to point out is that a couple years ago, we were going through some, obviously still tough budget times, but we sat down and worked out a 3-year agreement with San Diego Public Library Board as far as the first year was level funding, last year was 1% increase, with the caveat that the health insurance was over top of that. Health insurance increases, they were on our health insurance plan. And then this year, under the contract, it's a 2% increase. We also are starting to stick some money aside in our capital outlay to be able to take care of particularly carpet replacements, some of the capital needs. The county is basically responsible for the building, parking lot, the general part, and they're our tenant basically in the building. But we are trying to put some money together because stuff is starting to show its age. It's a little shop worn. So we know we've
With the
got.
amount of traffic that we have through that facility, it definitely is showing its age. But that's good, it's being used.
Volunteers, how many people that work at the library volunteers? And regular people.
We have probably over 125 volunteers. In the last fiscal year, we logged 9,519 volunteer hours, almost 10,000 hours.
And 50 of those, we should point out, are youth. So our children's and our teen program is really strong, which I want to point out makes a huge difference with those teens when they're in that challenging age, just to be able to provide that. Mikhail does an amazing job of doing that. That's weird.
Come out of the woodwork. That's good, that's impressive to have 50.
Yes, it is.
It is, it really is. And a lot of those kids go on, you know, when they grow up, they come back, they volunteer. Don't we have at least, didn't one become a library employee? Yeah, that's what I thought. So.
I was impressed with Sammy Collin. I actually was.
It's
That was a
amazing.
good, that was a funny,
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
And it was just exciting to see those people walking around in their outfits. It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Their
and
costumes.
it gets bigger every year.
Right.
you know.
And it brings people in that,
Yes.
for the first time, that might not have ever come in the library, and then they come back, you know, so it's good, it is good.
Our door count that day was just over 3,000.
Wow.
I'm also a new member of the library. I joined 2 years ago. I hadn't been a member of the library since I was a child, so.
Yay!
I wanted a book, you had it, I had to join. And I've gotten several since then.
Very good.
So it's good. I don't have any more questions, do y'all?
Well, they have more time, so what are your biggest challenges?
Yeah.
Certainly keeping up with the building. So the fact that I think I can speak for us all, it's very heartening to hear. We've had severe challenges with the door and carpeting and all that age, so that's a really big deal for us. So thank you for considering that. And then I would
Keeping up with salaries.
yeah,
Salaries,
keeping
and that's your
salaries.
number one, I was
Yeah,
looking
it
at
is
the budget,
really
and
the
it is your
number
number one
one.
expense,
Yeah,
of course.
it is.
Looking
It
at
is.
the county salary study, and
Yeah.
we're a little behind that.
So keeping people, but your people are loyal though, aren't
They are
They tend to come
amazing.
and
They are
stay.
amazing.
They
We're very
are
lucky.
amazing, but you know, there's only so much you
Right.
can expect, you know, so really pulling them up into a real living wage would be really important in the next year or two to come.
Could I add one thing quickly to that challenge?
Sure.
One of the things that we try to do as a public library is maintain our viability in the community. Libraries today are not what libraries were when we were children. Very different role in the community, and of course the community is growing and changing as well. And so one of the things that we're always trying to do is making sure that we're keeping contemporary, that we're able to offer the kinds of services that are valuable. And so we're always looking at how we can change and improve.
Well, I saw where you're offering GED services and that's, yeah, that's great.
GED, ESL,
Literacy.
right,
Computer
computer
literacy.
trainings all the time. I mean, it's a really deep program, and Fossil, the Friends, have been a huge support. I mean, they raise money, they bring programs in. You know, it's really what Harold said. It's true. Libraries, they're not really about books anymore. It's so much
Well, they're
more.
not just about.
Just
books.
They're not
Right.
just about books. Yes.
One
We
more,
really love our books, mind you.
one more thing that I think, is the library gonna go bookless? I mean, not paper wise. I mean, are you gonna have all your books on as an electronic version, or do you intend to
I
continue to
can't
I
have?
don't
imagine
think
that.
I like a book. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't see that being economically
No.
viable.
No, the electronic books are actually very expensive. You have to lease them.
And there's a huge legal challenge right now
Right.
with how you can buy them, purchase them, rent them, lease them. Macmillan Publishing House is doing a whole lot of things in the industry of libraries, is not happy about it. But the bottom line is, there's still a huge number of people that want to pick up that book and hold that book and smell that book, and so I think
Yeah.
there will always be books.
And then, I've seen studies that say that it's really turning around. That people, they thought,
That was an ideal
that
thing.
that was going to
Yeah.
happen, but
It doesn't
there's-
feel the same.
no, there's,
Yeah.
I'd
the
rather
numbers
turn a
don't
page and
show.
swipe a
The
screen.
numbers
Page
don't
turning
show.
is rewarding.
Yeah, it is, it is,
Anyway,
so.
it's like
Hard to-
checking the box.
It's
Keeping
hard
our
to curl
collection
up
up
with a good
is-
Yeah, a
computer
good
screen.
Kindle.
Right. So keeping our collection up, so the fact that, if we can get money that supports the salaries, if we can get all of those other things that we need, like, just the nuts and bolts of keeping the building up, hopefully then we can use the money that we raise for what we really need, which is to expand collections, to expand our programs, computers,
Replace furniture, replace.
furniture, all that stuff.
Yeah, the board has committed
Yeah.
a pretty significant amount of money every year to replace technology because we were falling so far behind.
Yeah.
And this year, our focus was to replace every computer that was Windows 7 because Microsoft isn't supporting it anymore.
I still have some Windows 7 here. You still have some Windows 7?
Well, you can come over to the library and use one of our computers.
We're not
I
done.
still prefer
We're still
Windows 7.
working on it.
Yeah, we're still
But
working on it.
Every year, we're knocking a little bit more out of that, and the board understands the importance of keeping our technology current.
And I might add that, in addition to the funding you provide and what we do for ourselves, we're developing a really nice fundraising program to reach out to the community, to people who use the library and people who might use it. And we're making really nice strides with grants, donation from vendors, donation from other business partners. And so we feel like that's an opportunity that hasn't been developed in the past. We can't nail down a specific number because we're all about just getting that going. But we think there are opportunities there because people love the library and people give to things that they love. And so we're trying to capitalize on that. So that's a new initiative that we're working on. You don't see the numbers in here because, we want to get going, but we think there's some opportunities there. And as was pointed out, those give us opportunities to buy technology and to do things that we can't do through normal funding. So we're trying to help ourselves, is my point, in addition to what.
And it shows, it really does show.
And our board is really foursquare behind that. Not-for-profit boards are expected to participate and to give. And we're proud to tell you that 100% of our board is giving to our funds, and we think that's the right way to show the way.
Thank you so much for coming.
Certainly.
Really mean it. It's a pleasure to see the Samuels Library people here.
Thank you all so much.
Thanks for your time.